Okay. Nope, we temporarily lost Heidi or Holly. Okay, it is April 9th, and I don't know if it's that the weather is nice or that I just got back from a kid-free vacation, or if, the seasons are changing and lives are about to get really busy. Like moms are all going to get bombarded with sports. Like my neighbor was outside yesterday. She says she has 1 week until baseball takes over her life. So it's a busy season for a lot of people. What does that mean? That means a funk is coming. You're either in one or one is coming, and it is hard to break out of it because this is when we have to do the hard things. Honestly, like this is the hard part of the job, is the times in your life where you want to say, screw it, and sit on the couch and lay on the couch and watch Grey's Anatomy or catch up on shows or reruns or even just veg, right? But this is the time where it matters the most, when we're showing up and we're showing people that even in the busy season, even in the funks, and being honest about it and sharing what we're dealing with and how we're going through it, that's the hard part of the job. And so Michael and I are just going to talk to you guys a little bit about that today, because she's like, do you have any ideas for a team call? And I was like, funk. I was like, being in one, getting out of one, because I feel like I'm just there. I'm always passionate about this business. I'm always passionate about changing lives. But there are times where I just don't want to do the things. And so we're just going to give you our best tips. So Michael's going to cover the first half on
I'm going to cover pretty much it's all good. I'm going to cover what you need to do before you get into a funk. And I'm going to kind of explain how I recently got out of my funk. So for those of you who don't know me, don't follow me on Facebook, I, as of almost 4 weeks ago, broke my foot. And I'm also a military wife living states away from any family and friends. And I also have 2 girls, both 2 and under. So me with a broken foot is that's just like the biggest challenge in the world. I have non-weight bearing, so I'm literally scooting around on this scooter in my house. It's a crazy picture. But I'm struggling with doing daily things, let alone I was trying to show up and be that inspiration for other people when I was having a hard time, literally just changing diapers and going to get apple juice. Like I was having struggles every single day with little things. So I looked back at how I got out of my funk, and it all kind of ties together, because I really think that I went through a very short stage of depression because of everything that hit me, and everything that I normally would use to get out of my funk was taken away. So my exercise was taken away. I just got done with 80-day obsession. That was an hour of intense workout, and I was pushing myself every day. And now I'm down to doing 10 to 15 minutes of ab work because that's it. That's all I can do. And from somebody who was building such muscle to have to scale back on that level and to watch my leg literally lose muscle, there is nothing there. It is complete skin. And that's hard for me to watch that after working so hard. She's 8 months old. I worked so hard to lose my baby weight and to get to the place that I am. And then to have it all taken away in 3 weeks just was devastating. So all of that hit me. My husband, as I said, he's military. He's actually gone this week. He left for another week-long trip, and he's leaving again at the end of May for 3 weeks. And the fact of him being gone and then being away from family and friends, it takes a toll on you. And I don't have time as a mom, as I'm sure whoever, I don't know if all of you are moms, but as you guys know, there's no breaks. You don't get a day off. I don't have time to take a day and sulk and do that. And so all of my energy was poured into getting the daily struggles done. That was my energy. And I didn't want to show up on social media. I didn't want to be an inspirational coach because I didn't feel motivated myself. So this little stage of depression happened. But you know what also happened in this time is that those healthy habits that I created when I was in, you know, when I was not in this state carried over to this broken foot state. So even though I wasn't exercising and doing an hour, my habits that I had created before, I was still getting 20 minutes in. I was still pushing play and doing what I could to better myself and to make myself feel like the old me. I was getting in personal development every single day, even with this broken foot. And that, I literally think that's what like saved me and got me out of the depression, was the personal development. Because there's so much negativity everywhere. And for me, I constantly am talking down to myself. I don't believe I'm good enough. And when I broke my foot, it takes me down a level in my eyes. My personal development, I'm reading like 3 different books because I have so much time to read 3 different books. Everything I'm reading is just building me back up. And all of those habits of the personal development, I never would have had. I never would have had if I wasn't being consistent. I don't know what's happening. And I lost my complete train of thought. But my point is, the vital behaviors that I was doing before I got into my funk is what got me out of it. So doing my exercise, getting my shake in, eating healthy, my energy went into what I could control. And that I could control. I could get that stuff in. I could still do 20 minutes a day, even though, you know, I do 10-minute, 15-minute abs, and I see all my challengers crushing all these goals and doing this program that I was supposed to be doing with them. And that sucks and that hurts. But if this were to happen to me 2 years ago, I would not have been push and play. Would not be doing this. I would not be still striving to be an inspiration. And so I had control over my exercise and my nutrition. And hey, Ultimate Portion Fix just launched. Guess who's doing it? Me. That is perfect opportunity. I dove into that. I got certified. Like, all of this is what I'm putting my energy into. And personal development. Guys, I was not a believer when I signed up as a coach. I was like, self-help books are for people who, now I don't want anybody to take this the wrong way, but I didn't know about mental health. Like, I never experienced it. So I thought that's what self-help books were for. I thought that you had to have something diagnosed to use a self-help book or something like that, because I was not like, I don't know what they were for. I never read one. And all these people, I'm joining this tribe of girls who are positive and uplifting and all of this stuff. And they're like, you need to read this. And it took me a year to pick up a book. And then when I did, and I started reading these things that were feeding my mind with all of this positive energy and the stuff like believing in yourself and you can do this and don't let this stop you and don't quit because of this. Like, you hear that enough and you start to believe it in yourself. And the more positive energy you put into your mind, the more it will overflow into the rest of your life. And that is what the big change was for me. So personal development, I took that and I carried it into this funk. So even though I wasn't able to do a lot of things that I wanted to, I'm reading 3 books a day. I literally get in 3 books of personal development a day, and I'm still taking care of my mental state, which is important. I'm so busy. I need to have that positive stuff. And it's just like negative energy, guys. If you are talking down to yourself about your body, or, you know, saying like, oh, I wish I could fit into this. I wish I could do this, or I want to be a size this, or I hate my thighs. And you're talking this negative body image to yourself all the time. That's what you believe. That is exactly what you believe. It's the same kind of sense as the people you surround yourself with. If those other people are the same state and they're like, oh, I don't like the way I look, and they're constantly tearing themselves apart, and you're hearing that, then you're going to believe it and you're going to think that's normal. So personal development is not just something we suggest because it's a vital behavior. It's because it's changing our lives. It is changing everything about it. From the inside out is how we change. And the positivity is what's going to change it. So personal development got me out of my funk. These vital behaviors of doing this stuff got me out of my funk. I showed up every day in my challenge group with this broken foot. The day after I broke my foot, I had a picture, a sweaty selfie in there. And I'm posting my personal development stuff in my group because that's what I'm focusing on. My energy is going into that. And all of my girls need to see that these habits, it really is a lifestyle change. It's not just when it's convenient and when you don't have a broken foot. It's all the time. So, you know, I didn't invite, and obviously that's one of them, but like I was still recognizing my girls. I was still calling people out. I'm still reaching out to all of my clients, and I'm working with them, and I'm creating meal plans, and I'm doing all this stuff for my people because I still had those habits from before. These habits will continue no matter what happens. And guys, we don't know what's going to happen this year. I guarantee you will get into a funk at some point this year. Something will happen. We don't want it to happen, but there are ups and downs, good and bad, you know, mountains, valleys that are going to happen. And we need to be prepared for it, because if we aren't there mentally and we're not taking care of ourselves when we're up on high on a mountain, what's going to happen when we start going lower? It's just going to get worse. It's just going to get worse. And we need to build these habits so that when it gets to that point, we know exactly where we can turn, and we know exactly what will help us to get out of that valley. And I tell you this from experience, because when I say I had that negative mindset, I had the negative mindset. Like, and I still do. Melissa yells at me all the time because we'll talk and we'll have conversations, and she'll be like, Michael, no, like, stop saying that to yourself, because you can and you will. Like, I still struggle every day. So I'm in this valley, but if I were here at this time last year, I probably would have given up. I probably would not be exercising. So not only would I be losing all the muscle tone and everything I've gotten on my right leg, but I would have been losing all of the momentum that I've gotten with all my healthy habits. And I feel like that's a lot of people's struggles. So this is my opportunity to show people that these healthy habits are a lifestyle. They're not for convenience. They're not diets. It is how you live. It's a way of life. So that's how I got out. And I do think that another big reason I wanted to talk about is because the more I read these books, these personal developments, the more they talked about your why and your vision. And we talk about whys all the time, guys, but make sure you're reevaluating your why, because you will start to hit these goals and you'll start to get better. And sometimes those whys need to grow with us. They need to be something that we can strive for. I have so many things on my vision board, but they're not things that are appropriate for this time in my life. So I went back and I reevaluated, and I put things on there that I know I can hit and that I know I can get to, and that still motivate me. Something as simple that's on my vision board is that I eventually want to get the girls to Disney. Next year, like 2020, I want to get the girls to Disney, and I want to pay for it. Like, that's something that I can absolutely do. You know, it's totally doable. Adeline is in this wonderful Disney stage. She knows the characters. It would be so much fun. She would be old enough to like not be doing this, you know? So it would be so much fun to do that. And that's on my vision board now. That was not on there 2 weeks ago because I reevaluated. Your whys, your vision, it changes as your seasons change. So you have to reevaluate, and you have to see where you're at and make them scary. Make it something that will push you to do better, to strive more, because I have a hard time believing in myself, but I know I can do more than what I could do last year. So if I put my energy into believing that I can do it, I don't think there's anything that can stop me from doing it. So reevaluate your whys. Look at where you're at in your life and what you want from this business. Write them down, because you know, if you don't write them down, then it's not a goal, it's a dream, or it's a wish. And you have to have it written down with dates so that you know that it's something that you're going to hit. You're going to strive to hit it. And it's not just a wish that's out there floating around. Tell somebody, make yourself accountable to it. Make sure that it is one of your top priorities, because that's the only way that you're going to take it seriously. And guys, this is a business. Treat it like a business. You want to get to these goals and you want to do this? Well, then show up every day. Show up every day, even when you have a broken foot. I don't even want to get up in the middle of the night like I have to nurse her at night. Do you know how hard it is to get up in the middle of the night and hop on one leg from one room to another? That's what I do 2 to 3 times a night. And it like makes me, it like wants, I want to like cry because it is so hard to struggle with the simplest things that were easy. But I took all of that for granted before this happened. And now I'm learning and I'm growing, and I'm a faith person. I know God gave me this broken foot because I'm supposed to grow from it. I'm supposed to be stronger from it. And I am stronger from it already. And we're only like halfway through this healing process, which makes me cringe because I still have 4 weeks left. But look at how far I've come already. Like, I'm so much more motivated. And I really do think that I'm inspiring people because I haven't given up, because my circumstances weren't perfect. You know, you're not going to have a right time. In the last year, I have been pregnant. I've been postpartum. I've had a broken foot. I live in South Carolina. My family's in Pittsburgh. Ray was gone for 10 weeks for officer training school. I was by myself with 2 kids, 2 under 2. He came home, and a week later I broke my foot. And a week later I broke my foot. Like, that's my life. That's my story. It has been challenge after challenge after challenge. And yes, I'm tired and I'm exhausted, but look at all I did. Look at what I have done in the past year. So these vitals.
Can I point out that you would have been tired and exhausted anyways, but
Yeah,
now
right. And you're right.
you have all this, like, that's exhausting in itself. Guys, here's the thing, like, people are tired at the end of the day regardless. But, you know, having something like this that fills your cup is huge. Michael, you good? So guys, can you please write out your why and your vision and send it to your coach by Friday this week? So send it to Michael or I by Friday, your why and your vision. And so your vision can be something as simple as, you know, what do you want your life to look like? As like confidence and time, or, you know, maybe it's financial freedom. Like, honestly, guys, like, I'm kind of really living, you know, a huge chunks of my life that I envisioned years ago. Like, I wake up at home at a house that I help pay for with my husband, and I get my girls ready. I take them off. I do some work. I do some videos with my challengers, my team. I do my workout. I sit in my hot tub that I paid for. I go pick up my girls. We have fun for the afternoon. And then, like, I go to bed tired, as I would have anyways, but I feel rewarded and my cup is full. And did you want to add something, babe?
I think that with the vision, like, for me, I was making my vision too far away for me. Mm-hmm. I needed a vision that was scary but realistic to hit. And for me, I want to take my family to Disney. I want to do that. And I can do that. And yeah, I can have scarier goals. And like, as far as actual business goals, they are bigger than that. But my vision of seeing them in Disney, I feel like that's realistic, and I really feel like I can do that. So make it scary and make it something you have to work for, but don't make it something that is like a 5-year dream, because that seems so far away. You can have those and you can write them down, and I think that's awesome, but I really think that you have to have those smaller ones that lead up to that, because for me, I need to have something that looks like I can hit it, because I have low self-confidence and I have low belief in myself.
It's not even about the low belief and the low self-confidence, though. Honestly, you know, I'm the same. Like, the Success Club trips, I talk about those because that's something that's attainable, that I'm like, yep, I can do that. I can help 3 to 5 people a month. That's easy enough, right? Mm-hmm. But big goals that I have, like the Million Club and being debt free and like paying off our mortgage. Like, I'm sorry, sister, that ain't happening tomorrow or next year or maybe in 5 years. But that's not going to get me out of bed every morning, and that's not going to keep me up an extra 15 minutes every night to do the things that I need to do. But thinking about a hot tub in the next year or 2 years, that is possible if I really like focus and put the money aside. Yeah. Like taking your family on a weekend getaway to Disney or somewhere else attainable. Being able to pay for Shakeology for you, your husband, and your kids, attainable. Like, whatever it is for you, it needs to be something that you're actually like, that you're not going to be like, oh, well, I'm not going to do that anyways. Like, so why even try? Like, it has to be something that you really can do if you put your mind to. And yes, that is anything, and you can take this business anywhere, but let's be real. We are all about instant gratification in this world. So you need to have some things that you're going to check off the bucket list on the way, also with that. So have smaller visions. Like, it can even be a vision of waking up in the morning and putting on your clothes and not thinking twice about getting dressed. Like, that could be that's a huge vision, right? Okay, so your vision and your why, and the vision can be a few things. But if you have a big goal you're working towards, something that you're really putting this income towards. Okay, so guys, I'm going to talk to you about the Coach Funk. And, call me crazy, but I feel like I'm better when I'm going through something hard, because there's always something to fight against, right? There's always something to push through or something to prove. But when I just have like the regular, guys, I'm always fighting with depression, anxiety, chronic pain. Like, I'm a hot mess. I'm always fighting with those things. But when there's nothing really big for me to fight, then I just go through periods where the depression gets bad. So for me, my funks are usually caused by myself, like, not deliberately, but I get in this place or my brain starts taking over. And so step one, so here's your action steps for being in a funk, is step one is to reach out, right? Do you have a success partner in this business? Do you have an accountability person, or you're a coach? Reach out and be like, okay, I'm in a funk. I can't do X, Y, and Z, because the things that you need to be doing. I talk about this in my challenge group. The things that you should be doing. So why are you not doing the things? And most of the time, the things are not even that hard. A lot of the time, the things are adding new friends, the things are replying to messages, the things are inviting, and the things are posting on social media, right? Putting yourself out there. It is hard to put yourself out there when you're not feeling yourself, or, even par. And here's what I want to tell you. The world needs to see all of the journey, because it's not always pretty. No one's life is always perfect. No one is always on their game all the time. And so it's okay to go through funks. Now, how do you approach it? Right? So you are never, I don't ever want to see any of you guys ever ranting on social media. If you ever feel the need to hashtag or say and rant, delete. It is not your dumping ground. You put positivity out there. So if you're dealing with something, then you need to find a positive, or you need to tell people what you're going to do to combat that funk. So I made a post the other day that I'm trying to find my miracle morning, right? I remember a time where I got up early before the kids, which was just Elsie at the time, because I haven't really been able to do this since Cora. When I got up before Elsie, and I had alone time and quiet time, and I listened to my personal development, and I did my power hour, and I drank my coffee warm just like I like it, because I don't like it really hot and I don't like it cold. So there's only a small window in there that I get coffee. And in mom life, I don't get that warm, right? So all of that, it's hard, guys. I don't know why I'm not sleeping. Cora's sleeping. I'm not sleeping. Like, fuck if I know, right? But I think that's a big part of it. But I know I have to get up. I know getting up in the morning is going to start my day better than forcing myself out of bed at 7:30 when all I want to do is lay there. Like, I don't want to do the things. Why? Because I don't know. I'm mentally exhausted. I don't want to listen to other people's problems. I don't want to do all the things. And I don't share this, to tell you guys like, oh, there are just days where it's hard to open the inbox. There are. I'm not going to lie to you. There are days where it's hard to open the inbox. But within 5 to 10 minutes of opening that inbox and getting in there, there's usually something to make me smile, something to make me cry, and something that gives me goosebumps. Like, even if I don't want to do the things bring me joy. And my depression and my funk know that. Like, anytime you're in a funk, our brain is not meant to help us thrive. Our brain is meant to keep us alive. That's it, to keep us safe. So it's always in defense mode, right? It's always looking for the negative, or it's always looking for the trap. And so you've got to, 1, make sure that you're pumping good stuff in there. 2, get out of your head, tell somebody you're in a funk, and then check in with each other every day for 7 days and figure out how you're going to get out of it. What one thing are you going to do? And then personal development. I know Michael said it, but honest to goodness, guys, like, when I'm in a funk, first thing that I do is I ask myself, Melissa, when's the last time you did personal development and how much? And then what kind of personal development was it? Was it business personal development? Was it personal development? Or was it like team calls? Because team calls don't always do it for me when books do. And it is usually like when I'm in a funk and I ask myself, how long has it been since you've done personal development? Chances are it's been at least 3 days. Like, anytime I go longer than 3 days, 5, really, I notice it. Like, I notice it because there are more negative thoughts in there than positive thoughts. And the negative thoughts aren't even like directly negative. They're like tricky negative, right? Like, oh, well, it doesn't really matter if I do X, Y, and Z because it hasn't affected me yet. Well, with an attitude like that, it's never going to. So, you are speaking yourself the truth of your life. So with personal development, with getting an accountability partner, with being real about it, with sharing it in your challenge groups, with sharing it on your social media, that keeps you ahead of the negative thoughts that will creep in. So I tell my challenge groups, we are all coaches in here, guys. We are all coaches. So we are not only responsible for doing the things for ourselves, but we're responsible for showing up for others, right? We've added in that extra accountability. So when it's hard for me to show up for myself, a lot of times that saves me. A lot of times that saves me. When I don't want to show up for me, I can show up for them. If you really, truly can't show up for yourself or show up for them, tell them and watch what happens. Open up to your community. Tell them that you need them to help you push play. You don't have to be perfect all the time just because you're a coach. Like, my tribe loves me because I'm real with them, because I'm relatable with them, because I don't bullshit them. Like, if I don't want to work out, I will straight up freaking tell them, I don't want to work out today. I only did it for you guys. Like, that happens. And there are days where I go live in there and I think I have a good topic and I feel like 20 minutes later, all I did was vent. And I usually get a message that was like, thank you, I needed to hear that. And I'm like, which part? But okay, right? Like, they need to hear the struggle, because it's nice for them to know that they're not the only one going through it. Like they're not the only one that takes 10, 15 minutes of convincing to click play. Right?
Touch. Hold on.
So I open up to them, and I also share on social media. You know, stories are great. And then share what, you know, so if you're struggling, like I've shared statuses before where I'd be like, you know, you better be serious. You bet if you say you want to do something, you better be ready to follow through with it. And I'll like maybe post a picture, or I'll like tell a little story about how I didn't want to work out, and I like made a post in my challenge group that, you know, if they didn't see a sweaty selfie by 8 o'clock, like blah, 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 whatever. And I had like 15 messages. Like, so something like that, like, how are they supporting you? How are they keeping you accountable? So Jen, you work outside of the home. Anybody who works outside of the home, I tell them 100% of your personal development needs to be in your commute. Like, commute, personal development. No more music, personal development. And make it good personal development. So personal development is different. You know, when people ask me what my favorite personal development book is, I say I literally cannot answer that. It depends on what you're dealing with, what you're going through. So I'm going to give you some of my best book suggestions for PD for when you're in a funk. And I know I said no music in the car, but as long as you get your PD in, and if you're in a funk, you need to double what you normally do. So I shoot for 20 to 30 minutes. Honestly, guys, I shoot for 15 to 20 minutes a day. Every day, 15 to 20 minutes. Anything over that is a bonus for me. But if I'm in a funk, it's at least 30 minutes, usually an hour. I make sure I find the time, because chances are, guys, when I don't want to be doing the things, I'm usually doing other things, right? Like, I'm like, oh, I need to send invites. Like, I don't have any time while I'm sitting on the couch and Cora is watching Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Like, she's busy, she's cray, but I can still be on my phone. I don't need to watch Mickey. Like, and I do a lot of voice messages even. So like a lot of times you're busy doing other things that don't really require your full attention, and you could be doing these things, but you tell yourself that you have so many other things you're doing, right? And I'm not saying that stay-at-home mom is not really, really hard and always on the go and constant, because it is, but there's a lot of like mom pockets in there when the kids are eating, like when we're playing outside on the swings, you know, and replying in and out of messages sometimes. I mean, not always. I definitely put my phone away, but that's another reason why I want to get up and get that miracle morning in, because I want to have like all afternoon with my girls where I don't touch my phone. I want that. Like, that's my goal for this summer. And I know myself, I know that it will take me a solid month to get into this habit. So I'm starting in the middle of April. So by the middle of May, when my girls are getting out of school, I'm already in the habit where I'm getting up an hour to 2 hours before them. I'm getting in my work, and then I finish up my work in the morning while we have cartoons and breakfast and a little bit of indoor playtime. And then in the afternoon, we're out, we're doing stuff, we're living our life. We're going to the park, we're going to the playground, we're playing outside, we're going to the children's museum, we're doing something. Like, that's my goal for the summer. So I know that I need to have these habits in place now, whether I'm in a funk or not. So I know the morning is my opportunity. So my personal development that I started this week is the miracle morning. I highly recommend it. If you feel like you cannot find the time in your day, write this down. The Miracle Morning, Hal Elrod. Also, after that book, there is even there is a Miracle Morning for network marketers. I've listened to them both. I actually listened to the network marketer one before I knew that there was just a regular one. Both are good. And it took me he gives you really good tips in there. And guys, I am not a morning person. Like, I'm just not even gonna lie to you. Like, but a month into doing that miracle morning, my entire day was changed. So for busy moms, like, this is the way I've got to do it, because I was literally trying not to fall asleep at 7:30 on the couch tonight. Like, I was like, you have to host a call. You have to host a call. Like, don't drink caffeine, because then you won't be able to sleep and we'll be in the same situation tomorrow, but you got to host a call. Like, you have to stay awake. And then I was like, go downstairs, make a PowerPoint. I was like, am I fucking kidding? So then I did an Insta story. Like, I'm like, all right. I don't want to do any of the things, so I show up. Like the funk that Michael's talking about, guys, like, I do better when I'm going through something hard because I lean into this business. And that wasn't a thing. You know, these tools, all of these things were not in place before this business. And my life got better, so much better by doing them. So when things get hard, I apply them more. I lean in instead of taking a pause. Like for most people, when their life gets rocky, like, well, they don't keep pushing for that promotion, or they don't, they're not employee of the month anymore at work, or maybe you push pause on the side gig. But this is a business that will literally take you through the hard stuff and make you better on the other side. And not only make you better on the other side, but bring other people with you, because they're all trudging through the hard shit too. And they need somebody that is willing to take their hand and pull them through the hard stuff. Like, this is the heart and soul of what we do.
And if I'm going to interject, if they're not saying that it's not hard. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're not saying like, oh, I'm a very positive person, but life is hard. Like, there are a lot of hard things that happen. And if you come to me with hard, I'm going to say, yeah, that sucks and that's hard, but this is your solution. And that's what you have to be able to provide people with, is this is what I've learned in these hard times. This is how you get out of it. And all of our vital behaviors and all the things we learn in this business and growing as a person and positive and all that stuff is what you use to get out of it. It all is a solution to get out. And so it's not like we're ignoring it hard or saying like, oh, it's, it's not a big deal. No, it's hard and it sucks, but you are stronger than that hard. Point blank.
And it gives you something to fight for when life is shitty. Like, it feels good to get messages from other people that you're impacting their lives and that you're helping them in a time in your life where you feel so helpless. And, that's a priceless gift. Like, it really, really, truly is. So don't be afraid to share the things that you're going through. Are you going to get some criticism from people? Maybe. Who the fuck cares? Probably going to happen regardless. Like, people are just judgy, and some people are just mad at the world. And those people, well, they need a whole lot of personal development in their lives. But, think about, however long it took you to get here. You can't make someone change or see the light if they're not willing to see it. So we just have to continue to show up and share for the people who, are sick and tired of being sick and tired. So, and also, the funk is you have to know that, at the end of the day, guys, no matter how hard it is to push forward, no matter how hard it is to show up and be Melissa Ludwig, the coach, the social influencer every day that I strive to be, it was so much harder to be the old me. It was so much harder to be that person who hid from the world, who was lonely, who was depressed, who didn't have any friends, who drank away her problems, who thought that she was worthless and thought that the world would be better off without her. Like, it was so much harder being that person. So I am just honest with myself, like, as hard as this is to be this person, because sometimes it's hard to make the vulnerable post. It's hard to do the vulnerable lives. It's hard to put yourself out there, but that hard is nothing compared to the hard that is waiting for me if I go backwards. And it's so ingrained in me that there literally is no backwards anymore. Like, it's not an option ever. I'm going down to see my sister, and I'm getting a tattoo, I think on my bicep, of my sobriety date. I only have 4 years sober, but that doesn't matter to me. Like, I'm never going back. And that is a date that just symbolizes, and guys, that happened on a super Saturday. Like, that happened on a super Saturday. Like, I went to a super Saturday that morning and I heard these stories and I told myself that, I was sick of living a lie, and I was sick of being that person and feeling that guilt and that hatred about myself because I just couldn't do it anymore. So if there's something that you're really like beating yourself up about, like, you need to take a look at that. Do you need to go to therapy? Do you need to just rip off the Band-Aid and be honest about it? Like, sometimes, like, we just need to like expose the lies that we're living in because we don't realize that they're lies. And, just doing the things, being in this better life, feeling what life truly has to offer, like, there is no going back. There is no going back. So that's, when people are like, oh, I wish I had your motivation. Hal has said this several times in his book, and I'm like, yes, man, like, maybe this is why I always say it, because I heard it forever ago, but amazing things come from inspiration or desperation. So either people need to get desperate or they need to get inspired. And we do the inspiring, but guys, chances are most of you started when you were desperate, right? So if you started when you were desperate, the people that we're talking to, they're desperate, right? So they need to see that somebody so when I have a bad day, like, I really don't talk about my back pain a whole lot now. You know why? Because it's been 3.5 years. Yes, my back hurts. People get it. But there are some times where I just have to make a post and be like, you know what? Like, yes, like, my back still hurts. I don't talk about it, but like holding my daughter for 5-10 minutes, like, my back literally feels like it's on fire. Like, that's something that's never going to go away from me. Like, my quality of life changed in an instant. And instead of blaming that guy, it's so crazy. And I told Michael this too. Like, I think he did me a favor. Like, I mean, the direction that my life has taken after that broken neck, after the accident, like, with the pain, like, it's even further solidifying that, like, there is no going back, because I know the old Melissa wouldn't have made it. Like, she wouldn't have made it. And guys, like, I lost my best friend because he stopped fighting that battle. Like, I know what happens when you stop fighting that. And I know how hard that fight gets. And you'll never find me up on that bridge. Like, so you've just got to have the unwillingness to go back. So at the end of the day, whatever the things are, you're doing the things. All right. So, and I already touched a little bit on how to show it for others when you feel like your tank is empty. And so if you feel like your tank is empty, first is you need to fill your tank, right? So how do you do that? If you are a newer coach and you don't have, success stories coming to you, that's one thing that always fills my cup. You can always even choose, guys, like, people love to celebrate themselves. Like, so making a post on social media that's like, you know what, like, I'm having a little rough day and I need a little motivation. If you're on a journey yourself, can you please post below how long you've been on that journey and how much weight you've lost? People are going to come out of the woodwork. People that you don't even know are working on their journey. And then you could just literally shout them out. This is not even a post to attract people, although that's a great place to start with those messages. Like, that is so freaking awesome. Congratulations. What have you been doing? Because sometimes you'll get those people who they're in a plateau. They've been doing the same thing for 16 months. They've lost 55 pounds, but they can't get the last 40 off. right? Or whatever it is. Like, so you never know where that would go. But so you can do that. You can shout people out in your team page. But for the most part, I'm going to say personal development. And so I already mentioned the Miracle Morning. A really quick read, if you struggle with time management, is Eat That Frog. So if you're somebody who, and the big concept of Eat That Frog is whatever that one thing is that you put off. For me, invites. I'm pretty sure that's probably all of our frogs. So let's just put a big like whole frog and invite on there. And basically his whole concept is you are going to, you got to eat the frog first thing in the morning. Like if it's the one thing that you avoid doing all day, chances are that's the thing that is going to make the most impact. For whatever reason, that's usually what it is. And so by doing that first and getting out of the way, now you have all day to be productive because you're not procrastinating anymore. You're not trying to come up with excuses for not doing the thing that you need to be doing. Energy Bus is really great if you're in a personal energy funk. I love the Energy Bus, and it's even told in a story, and they do like changing voices, and I love the characters. I love it. It's only like a 2 or 3 hour listen and Audible too. So like one road trip, you get that sucker in there. I loved it. It was great for energy. It was great for mood. So that's a good mental one, is the Energy Bus. Girl Code. This one is kind of business, kind of personal, but really, help dive into the community a little bit more there. Unfuck Yourself, I really like for those blunt people. He's also Scottish on the Audible, so Scottish fuckery is a huge win for me. But that one is good for even some of my challengers do this one, because this is a good one to get yourself out of a funk, like to unfuck yourself, basically, right? In the mind there. So that's a good one. The 5-second rule is really good for procrastination. Really good for procrastination. So that's Mel Robbins. And guys, you can listen to a sample of all these books on Audible before you get them. And a couple more that might be more like Michael's Tribe is The Universe Has Your Back. Have you done that one yet, Michael? No? The Universe Has Your Back. And I also like Present Over Perfect. I like that one, although I would say like she's totally a workaholic and she's like, oh, instead of doing all these things, maybe I'll just do and I'm like, yeah, if I could do all those things, I wouldn't need to be listening to this book, but okay. So that one was a little bit over my okay, maybe I'm just really trying to be present here because, yeah. So that one was good, but it was definitely on a higher level. And then there are a lot of good books for business. But I also really like for the funk, The Compound Effect, The Slight Edge, because every little thing that you're doing, every little decision that you make, that's what's shaping your life 2 to 3 years from now. The business that I'm running right now, I'm running this business based on the actions of 2016. For real, guys. A few of my coaches that I'm signing up this year, I probably started talking to them in 2015, 2016. I just signed up a discount coach who I friended in 2016. So that was 3 years ago that we even friended on Facebook. So it takes a while. You plant these seeds. So, dedicate or dedicate that you're going to be here. We'll go with that's the word. A year from now, and 2 years from now, and know that all of this work that you're doing is going to pay off. And not only that, guys, like think about how long you watched your coach and how much, how many positive things or how many positive takeaways you had from them before you signed up. So know that even if people are not signing up with you right now, or they're not taking the plunge, like you're still impacting their lives. You're still adding value to their lives. Like they're still seeing what you're doing. And so it's important that we show up and that we work through our problems openly, honestly, as positive as we can. And there are days where I'm like, you know what? Couldn't fucking find my positive pants in my closet today. So I did some PD, like straightforward, right? Like I didn't want to do it today. So what do? I take my ass to the personal development. Like that's it, guys. Like I don't always wake up ready to take on the day. My IG that I did right before this was showing them all the dirty dishes, all the Legos on the table, and the 2 baskets of clean laundry waiting for me upstairs as I come down here to run this call, because I don't do it all. Like I chose to be active and present in my job and mom life today, and the housework just didn't happen. Like, so that's, that was my give and take. That was the sacrifice that I made today. And that's okay to share. Like nothing wrong with that. So it's important to share, where we fit this business in, that we're not perfect, and just all that. So does anybody have anything to add or any questions?
I mean, I have something to add. I went actually live in my group about this, but my biggest thing that was taking me down when I broke my foot was I was overstretched. So I was trying to do all the things on one foot by myself. And I think
let's take a picture here because Heidi said her phone might die and mine still has batteries. So let's everybody hop on. Let's take a picture just in case we lose people.
Okay.
So Jess and Holly, can we see you for a sec? Holly, are you there?
I just got a tummy time, so I apologize.
You sound like a robot.
It's not me.
It's not. All I heard was I apologize. I just got home, so is she not coming on?
I just got out of tummy time.
What's Jessica?
Tummy time.
I just got out of the tub.
Oh, she got out of the tub. Oh, Jess.
Let me put a shirt on.
Yes, I thought that was Holly. I don't know what's happening. You did look naked, though, lady. Okay, just show the face.
I am naked. That's why.
Oh. Come back. Put some clothes on and come back. This is recording too. I love it. You can sit with us. Anybody can be a coach. That's one of my favorite hashtags. Guys, I say that all the time. Like, I have already paid for the podcast airtime. Do you know why it hasn't launched yet? Because this chick can't use technology. Like, there's all like, come on, Jess. There we go. She's even dressed. Okay. Everybody say cheese. And then we're going to do a boomerang. On the video too. They'll be watching the recording like crazy.
Oh, baby girl.
Everybody. Okay. And stop chatting. All right, hang on. Let me chat with you. Okay. And move. Okay. All right. You can take your videos now. We got the pictures. I'll share them. Okay. Go ahead, Michael. I just wanted to get
That's okay. No, that's okay. I just think one of the biggest things I've learned from I was so overstretched. Okay. So I'm trying to coach, to mom, to housework, to be a military wife. And I was doing too much at one time. And then I stepped back and I thought, okay, why am I doing these things? Again, back to the why, back to the personal development, but why am I doing these things? I looked at my whys, and the first things on that list were my 2 girls, right? First 2 reasons. Now, why am I not putting most of my effort into enjoying my girls first? Because how am I supposed to put all this energy into all these different things and then give what's left over to them? Like, I was not giving myself my why. I was literally not giving myself my why. So I was here trying to push, trying to do everything, and not even connecting with my girls. I was present in the moments and not even enjoying them. That's where I was, because I was doing everything else for everybody else. And I stepped back and I realized it, and that's why I went live that day that I realized it, because I was like, you people need to know this, because I'm working so hard for them, but I'm not even enjoying them. Like, so now I do my stuff in the morning, and then I don't look at my phone for 2 hours while I'm playing with them, because it's not as important as that time with them. I can do that during nap time. I can do that when they go to sleep. I can do that later. Like, it's not that I'm taking away my energy from that stuff, but there has to be a separation for me. You know, I was so drained from doing everything else and trying to be strong and trying to be all these things and not show struggles, which is another whole thing that I'm working on. But I'm doing all this, and my why was not even in my life. Like, it literally breaks my heart to think that I was not even, I was missing moments that I was here for. How does that happen? You know? So realize that if your whys are your kids or your family or whoever, make sure you are feeding yourself with that energy too. Like, that's what's going to motivate you. Your whys are what motivate you. If you're not getting into your whys and you're not seeing that, and then guys, I mean, we're missing the point. We're doing it wrong. If we are not enjoying our whys now, we're doing it wrong. So yes, put your energy into all this stuff, but do it so that it's separated, because there is a time for husband and wife time. That's important. There is a time for kids and mom time, and there's nap times, and there's early mornings, and there's late nights, and there's still ways to do this where you're not missing moments. Like, I was missing moments. I was doing too much at once. And now I've realized it, and it's changed everything.
Also, there are times where social media is quiet. There are times where, you know, you can kind of step back. And when I say step back, I still mean show up with the vitals, because, you know, you're going to drink your shake, you're going to do your workout, you're going to do your personal development, you're going to shout at your people, you know, and do like something with your family on those days anyway. So that's what you share in stories. You know, you do your things on Facebook, but so maybe you don't send out your invites on Friday and Saturday, maybe or Saturday and Sunday. Maybe you don't, maybe you have, unplugged time Friday night and you share that. Like, it's okay to have balance. Actually, like, you need to have balance. And so you need to have balance. You also need to let people know that, like, my inbox is always open, but I get back to my messages when I get back to my messages. Like, if I have a message in my inbox and I'm doing something else, like, I know myself, I have to leave it there, because I even heard somewhere in personal development, like, if you're a procrastinator or something like this, like, only open something once. So only open that message once, only open that email once. Like, don't open it until you're ready to open it. So I don't even go in and look in the messages until I'm ready to sit down, focus, and look in the messages. Because if I open the message and then I run after Cora and then I'm like, fuck, and no. Like, I wait until if I have 5 minutes, yeah, I'll go in and I'll respond to one. Do I go through them all? No. Again, mom pockets, life pockets, whatever. But, you know, their social media is quiet on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So use a little bit of that time to unplug. So on Saturdays, like, I don't do like challenge group posts and coach posts on Saturdays. Like, I keep it light. It's family stuff. It's, you know, like a motivational quote or post or maybe a recipe or some kind of value out there, but it's not anything where I'm trying to like attract people and start like real conversations. And I hate when I'm pushing at the end of the month and it's a weekend, because I feel like people are just busy on weekends. They want to live their lives, right? So, you know, that's a time for you to live your life too. So, you know, hustle when the world is out there is hustling as well. But when the world is out there living in their life and enjoy it, like make sure you're doing that too. I'm reading the comments. Okay, does anybody have any questions? So what I would do, Heidi, when you have that time, you 5:20, you take them to work at 6, right? So I would get this, and even depending on what time, like we can hop on a Zoom. I got it next to me, right? So it even has it on a time. I just tagged you guys in it in our team page too. Workout and Shakeology. Okay, whenever you do that. Initiate connections and followers, 20 minutes. So let's just really quickly go through this and review what this means, okay? And then we're going to hop off. So I'm sorry it's running a little long, guys, but initiate connections and add followers. This is mainly Instagram, you know, also some Facebook. So Facebook, I add friends. Honestly, I add friends of family members or people who I know will never be a coach. Like if they work another business, maybe I'll go in and I'll add some of their friends, you know, like I know that they're not somebody, because I don't want it to be one of my challengers who could end up a coach down the road. And now I friended all their friends and they're already under me. Like that's a dick move. So don't do that. But on Instagram, I will look up hashtags that are relatable to me. So today, my hashtag search was stay-at-home mom life. And I went through, made sure people were not coaches. Like, that's harder. You know, you also need to make sure that look in there, because it doesn't say anything about health and wellness on my Instagram page. Not even on there. Like it's anxiety warrior, it's sad warrior, it's a medicated mama, it's a recovered alcoholic, chronic pain, girl mom up to, doesn't say anything about health and wellness. So like I share about that, but it's not on my description. So just look down a little bit, make sure they're not coaches. And then, so what I do is the 5-3-1 method. So on Instagram, it's you like 5 pictures, you comment on 3, and you send 1 direct message. And this is not just like the first 5 pictures and comment cute, 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 and then send them a message like, hey girl, love your page, can't wait to connect. No, right? So that's what the rest of the world maybe does. So you like 5, like scroll through for a while, find 5 that you actually like or that make you laugh out loud, right? And you like those. Then you find 3 that you can actually comment something about. And you comment on those. Guys, I don't even waste my time if I don't like their page. Because if somebody doesn't feel like my vibe, like I'm a hard dose. Like they're not gonna love me, like with all my fuckery and, you know, all the things that I do and talk about, like I'm just not gonna be their cup of tea. So when it's somebody who's like sharing mom memes or sweary memes, like I'm just kind of straight with my messages. All sound like me. I want them to know me like from the beginning. So I'll send them a message like, hey chick, love your page. You know, and I even sometimes give them like so I can't wait to see more of what you do, because 1, you seem like a badass chick. 2, I really dig the vibe you're sending out there. 3, I love your puppy. Like whatever. Like I'm just me. I'm weird. Like you don't have to list their things, but I'm like, oh yeah, because like this one chick, I really went a little crazy. I'm like, sorry, I just blew up your wall. I'm like, is it called that or was that MySpace? Like that's literally what I wrote in the message, guys. Like this chick's probably like, I don't even know what MySpace is. And then I'll know she's not my tribe because she's in a different generation. So guys, like my messages are never spammy. They're never gross. They're like, yeah, lady, I love what you're doing. Keep doing it. Here to support you, right? That first message has nothing to do with health or fitness ever. It's not my in. And usually like my conversations start about the other things that I share and they get into that because Oh yeah, she already wants to meet me and have coffee. A I don't know, I lost my thought. So I'm gonna keep moving. Do a social media post that showcase the benefits of your healthy lifestyle or has a call to action. So one post a day on social media that highlights your healthy lifestyle. For me, my people know that you're gonna see a sweaty selfie of some kind with some kind of good message on my page. Like that's just something I do every day. If you don't see it on there, it's in the stories, but it's usually a post I actually make on my page because my workouts are so important to me. They are such a huge, crucial part of my sanity, my process, all the things that I'm dealing with, like they all go in that. You won't always see my nutrition because I'm not as great with that one, but you will always see me showing up and pushing play. And then some kind of aspect on why I do that or how that helps my life in that post. I'm not just like, oh, look at me, I've got muscles now because I fucking do. Moving on. And a call to action means that you actually like tell people what to do. So you're like, drop your email below, fill out the form. Guys, go to woofu.com. I'll write it in comments. Why am I spelling it if I'm writing in the comments? I can't believe I used to actually drink. Oh my goodness. Okay, so, but a call to action is where you're telling them to do something. So I really like the UFU form, and I think it was, oh gosh, maybe A.B. Silverman, when she laid out her process of applications. And step one is filling out the WUFU form. And it is she has 3 things in there: their name, their email, and how did you find her? That's it. Facebook page, personal Facebook page, Facebook Live page, Instagram, Facebook stories, Instagram stories. That's it. And their email. Then you send them an email. And you're like, hey, I'm so excited. Thank you so much for reaching out and finishing the first step of the application. And then I don't really have a great plan on, I need to find that call because she actually sets it up where it sends a reply email automatically. And I think that it has them do something and then text her. So I need to figure out what that next step is. But for right now, I just have them fill out that form and then I email them back a little bit. Based off of when they filled that form, I'm guessing I only share that form a couple times a week. So it's not like I'm sharing it every day. And so I can kind of guess off of what they were responding to, but I just send them an email to basically open up communication because I have learned and people have said that sometimes people don't want to comment on a post. They don't want anybody else to see that they're commenting on this post that they need help or they want to do something. They don't want to hear their friends telling them if they tried Beachbody and it didn't work for them or they have isogenics or they like, right? They don't want to open up that can of worms at all, so they don't. But having a form, they can do that privately. They can submit something to you. They can do that form and no one knows that they did it. So I really like having that form on there because you don't even have to do like or comment on this post or send me a message because people don't always do that. But I have gotten, since I've been dropping that form, like maybe only like 2 people every time I post it, but that's still like 4 to 5 people a week that I'm getting emails that I'm starting conversations with. So, and I always leave a this or that. I'm like, send me a message, drop something below, or grab the form if that's more your flavor. Like, but again, it needs to sound like you, right? So I speak with emojis. So a lot of times I'll have a lot of emojis in there. Yes. So you can actually have 2 free forms. So you can even have one that's coach related and one that is challenger related, and both like basically the same thing, right? But maybe there's one more question of why do you want to make changes, or why do you want to, why do you want to know more about this opportunity or whatever, right? There's a question there about the challenge group, like about from a challenger state point. Words are hard. Or you could do like those 3 things. What's your name, email, where did you find me, and what do you currently do, and what would your goals for coaching be? And that way you just have that one question in there, even to decipher when people are filling out the forms. Oh, was somebody interested in a challenge group that I was talking about? Because you're only using the 2 forms. So you use the challenge group form on all of your challenge group posts and use the coach form on all of your coach posts. And that way you don't get the 2 mixed on what people are wanting more information about. So that's also a good one to do because, if something were to happen to social media, like I'd be so screwed right now. I need to get more people, like their emails and get that saved into a place, because if something were to happen like that, like all of my business is on social media. Like it's all on Facebook, right? Like I don't even know if I have any of your cell phone numbers. Like it's all in there, right? So slowly I'm trying to transform over to that. And then I will be catching the live that was in April's team page today about Streak, and that was shared. So that's a good thing, again, when you're getting all the emails, to put that into there to keep track of that. Okay. Update IG, Facebook story throughout the day, daily life. That's self-explanatory. Workout clips. Guys, real easy. Just put it on hands-free for 15 minutes. So you do half a move and do one workout video and throw that in there and say something about it. I mean, it doesn't, like, I wouldn't recommend doing more than like 3 or 4, because then people can just do that the whole time. Like, why do they need to do workouts when they can just follow you every day, right? So only do a couple if you decide you want to do workout clips in your stories. Product use, no brand name shown. Very important. Are you making your shake? Are you shaking up your mom juice? Are you shaking up your post-workout recover? Are you having your hydrate at your kid's soccer game? Like, what are you doing? Share something daily. If you use it in your life every day, this is something that you should be sharing on the regular. And why? Why do you use it every day? Like, yeah, Beachbody sells it, but there's a lot of stuff that you don't have to be using that I bet you are. Like, why? Why are you still doing it, right? Healthy meal or meal prep, easy peasy. Post 1 picture of your meal every day or meal prep. Invitation, promotion to a group, poll, or call to action. Recognition or a shout out. I like to combine those last 2. I do a shout out every day or every other day and unfold. And then I like to do 2 slides of it. 1 slide telling a little story, 1 slide same person or a different person. And then that one has a call to action, like poll on it. Like, are you ready to get ready? Like the last one was Holly and her family, and it was like, are you ready to make some changes for you and your family? And the responses on the poll need to both be positive. They were heck yes or just me for now. So heck yes for the family or just me for now. Those were the options. There was no there. If it's a no, they ain't going to take the survey. Like, so make sure that there's 2 options there that you have to reach out to off of that. Respond to all new likes, comments, or views, 25 minutes. That's one that I kind of do throughout the day. I'm not going to lie, guys. I don't sit down and do that one times, but you totally can. Invite at least 5 people to join a challenge group or learn more about coaching, 15 minutes. Follow up with people you've invited, 15 minutes, self-explanatory. Contribute to the challenge group, self-explanatory. Recognize achievement. Give a shout out every day on your stories. It's easy. It's really, really easy. Respond to questions from customers in coaching. Engage in personal, professional development, 15 minutes. So, and it gives you time on these for the ad followers, 20 minutes. So Heidi, when you get up and when you have that time in the morning, so an hour, how much time do you have? An hour and a half? So the timed things on here are an hour, and if you're including personal development, an hour and 40 minutes. So an hour and 40 minutes, and you're getting all the big things done on here and all the other little things you can do throughout the day. So, I mean, guys, an hour and 40 minutes total, and you are doing everything to move your business forward successfully by leaps and bounds. Like, it's not just doing this one day. It is every day. It is consistency. It is showing up. So, starting, we'll go from a fresh one on Thursday, but for my coaches, I'm giving away a free tub of Energize. If you want a free tub of Energize or a free bag of Shakeology, let's go Energize, because you should be getting your own Shakeology. A free tub of Energize. I will raffle off between everybody who sends me in their trackers every week filled out for the next 3 weeks, because we're pushing for Summit. So 3 weeks, the next 3 weeks, guys, send me your trackers and I will, yay, Heidi. She's got it. I love it. And if you don't have a printer, just write it down. It's just X's. It's just checks. Or you can put this one in one of those like paper sleeves and just do a dry erase, or laminate one and do a dry erase every week. Just send me a picture of it every week and make sure that you're keeping track of your people on the back with notes and convos and things like that of the conversation. All right, so guys, that's it. That's all I have today. I know we ran a little later. I apologize, but thanks so much. Right? It's totally doable. And guys, that's disgusting. Like, I told Mark that I am on track to triple my income this year, like triple my yearly income. And it's just because I started doing the things and stopped telling myself, you know what it was? I messaged one of the other like leaders on our team that I kept telling myself I was so far behind. And I was like, can I ask you a question? Because I'm doing so much damage in my mind. What do you make weekly? I need to know how far I am behind you, like literally. And we were in the same ballpark. And I was like, I've been telling myself I'm so far behind her that I cannot catch up, that I've been doing this twice as long as she is. Like all of those, that's in here. Like you just got to get out of your head, right? So we're going to do all the things. I'm going to stop recording.